You are also Minister for Constitutional Affairs. And the President has now, for the umpteenth time, I heard him 2 days ago, say that before 75th anniversary of our independence, the national question of this country will be solved. Not only does he say that, he says that if it is not solved before that date, it will never be solved. And that's a prophet of doom, as it were, but he says that. So, the primary responsibility, if I might call it, in this House to carry that through rests on your shoulders as a minister who holds that portfolio. And as I have said it in this House, while the President was present, I wish to repeat it, that as for ourselves, we will cooperate with whatever genuine effort that is taken. So, the primary responsibility, if I might call it, in this House to carry that through rests on your shoulders as a minister who holds that portfolio. And as I have said it in this House, while the President was present, I wish to repeat it, that as for ourselves, we will cooperate with whatever genuine effort that is taken. And that is the reason why we have continued to sound positive, although we have serious doubts in our minds. We don't want to be blamed by you saying, well, we were ready to do it, but the Tamil side, raised various issues, they were not willing to do it. No, we are ready. But it must meet with the just aspirations of our people. You know what it is. We have said it very clearly. We have said that it must be meaningful scheme of devolution to the Northeast on a federal structure. I have said this once before, recently in this House. Federalism is not a bad word. There are many countries in the world, indeed, the strongest countries in the world have a federal structure. Federal idea was introduced into this country by none other than the founder of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, SWRD Bandaranaike, in 1926. The Kandyan chiefs wanted federalism into 3 units in this country. It was the Sinhala leaders who wanted it. They couldn't have wanted something that was bad for the Sinhalese people. So this bogey of saying federal will divide the country, cannot continue any further. Persons like you, learned in the law, must tell the people the truth, that there is absolutely no danger of the country dividing because we share power in a meaningful way under a federal structure. Unless we do that, we will continue to have this wound festering. I'm borrowing again from the phrase that the President used on the 3rd of this month. We are willing to come to a settlement that will be good for not just our people, but good for the country. This is the moment to do it. This is the moment to put lots of things right. Because we are in this economic crisis, I agree with you entirely that the big fraudsters must be brought to book. But those are not done merely by passing laws. There are some things that are fundamentally flawed in this country. It has ingrained into the system, so much so that if a deal is being made, some contract is being given, percentages are already allocated. 5% for the minister, you must be knowing this. So much for the ministry secretary, so much for somebody else. All of that it's established, systemized. The systemized corruption is very, very difficult to eradicate. That is why the youth of this country are saying system change. Now that system change has to do both with the political culture as with the culture of corruption in this country. And until we strike at that root, and it'll hurt us somewhat when we do that, we won't put it right. And I think the time has come. We have declared our country bankrupt. We have gone through 3 decades of war. At least now, if we are not willing to strike at that root and turn it upside down, country will never resuscitate from the coma that it has got into. So, as you said, this is the only time you have gone in the other direction. We appreciate that you have taken on a responsibility, a most difficult responsibility at a most difficult time. But that enormous responsibility must be carried out. Now, we in the opposition have a function. We in the opposition have the function of supporting you in every positive step that you take. That's a responsible opposition. And we will play that role. You know that very well. We will play that role. But equally, we have an enormous responsibility to oppose, to make plain to the country, to announce and call out the government if the government is on a wrong path. Now, after these several months of this new government, most of us are not in a position, if I speak the truth, not in a position to pull our full weight with this government. It has to do with the fact that you, on your side, still have people whose hands are sullied, who everyone knows are corrupt, and you are carrying on regardless. If the president and you think that you can somehow balance these matters and carry on and get away, you are sadly mistaken. It will not happen unless that fundamental change is made, unless the government and everyone here comes to the realization that we must start anew. Nothing is going to change. With the forces of evil that have gripped this country are far too strong to be balanced. It has to be eradicated. So all the racist elements, the corrupt elements, all of that have to be totally eradicated. You can't leave some of them and work with the others and hope that this is politics. We can manage the two, we can somehow get across. No, that won't work. Therefore, honorable ministers, I urge you, I urge you, please, as two ministers who left the government ranks and crossed the floor, recognizing that the government had lost its mandate, now you have gone back, taken ministerial portfolio, but as those who recognize that there is no mandate for this government, you must also support the view that the parliament has lost its mandate, and that with a fresh mandate, with a fresh outlook from what the people ask for, that fundamental system change only, we can come out of this mess that the country has got into. And fundamental to that is the national question, and repeatedly ad nauseum we are saying, because we want the country to hear, we want the world to hear, that we will cooperate on that, not to just cover up and hope that things are balanced. No. To do the right thing properly, make that fundamental change, share power in a meaningful way under a federal structure, then you have not only just our support, you will have the support of the entire world to change this country around. I must thank the Honourable Minister for Port Shipping and Aviation, reducing the airport tax for Palali Airport by half. That has enabled, I believe, the first flight to now arrive on the 12th of this month. I urge him to actually take away the airport tax in toto. We'll have more tourists coming. We will have foreign exchange that we badly need. It was an important move to have done in September 19, to have declared Palali Airport and the Batticaloa Airport as international airports together with Ratmalana Airport. That must come into effect. Both Palali Airport and the Batticaloa Airport must receive foreign tourists and others who will bring much needed exchange to our country. I'm saying specifically those two airports because linguistically it will attract Tamil-speaking people from South India, from Malaysia, from Singapore, from various other parts of the world. Take that. And so my appeal to the Minister is to relax that balance airport tax also and enable economic recovery through that process too. Thank you.